On Thursday, a massive breakthrough in the Stop the Steal movement occurred. A video emerged showing Georgia poll workers pulling mysterious ballots from under a table and processing them after poll challengers had been dismissed and were told vote counting had ended for the night.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out. So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses? Is the question. So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour. You have multiple machines there, and they're there for 2 hours. So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes and rules, to supervise the tabulation? We believe that could easily be, and probably is certainly, beyond the margin of victory in this race.
Another video showed one of the same poll workers transferring what appears to be a USB drive to another individual and trying to look discreet while doing so. These videos have prompted Georgia Governor Brian Kemp to finally call for a signature audit into the ballots, which the Trump campaign has been demanding for weeks. What pro-transparency activists in Michigan have to do now is create pressure to demand the public release of any and all security camera footage at the TCF Center in Detroit, on the warehouse floor where ballots were processed on Election Day and after. Whistleblowers who have signed sworn affidavits have been interrogated like criminals, with their good names being maligned by a complicit press that refuses to do even the slightest bit of investigation into credible fraud claims. Robed activists on the judicial bench have thrown out sworn affidavits in court, alleging there is no evidence behind them, while never so much as looking into the allegation. Poll challengers had taken video of the Gestapo operation run by the thugs overseeing the vote steal in Detroit. They would have been ejected from the premises and perhaps even prosecuted in the court of law. So what the riggers do is ban videotaping and picture taking. And then they tell you you have no evidence proving the extreme illegality that they committed, having banned evidence collection entirely. And then every level of institutional power works in concert to quash any and all legitimate allegations of fraud. The fix is clearly in, but we can cut through the propaganda by demanding video from the TCF Center. We need to see the video of the Detroit City Clerk's van pulling up through the garage to deliver the thousands of mystery ballots with no accountability, no transparency, and no chain of custody at the dead of night. We need to see the video of the cheaters intimidating, blocking, and threatening whistleblowers. We need video of these criminals reading their manuals prepared for them in advance to give them the best tips and practices on how to bully poll challengers so their coordinated fraud operation could go on unabated. This is the next avenue in the fight. Once we get the video, the shoe will drop here as it has in Georgia. Once people are able to see the third world gangster operation that happened in Detroit on election night, the calls for investigations and answers will be too much for even men as cowardly as House Speaker Lee Chatfield and Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey to ignore. One encouraging sign that the culpable parties are getting nervous is news that Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, the former Southern Poverty Law Center board member turned state election theft czar of sorts for Democrats, is ordering deletion of key evidence that could be used to overturn the steal that took place under her direct supervision. This shows that the bad guys are getting nervous, that they have something to hide, and the propagandists can no longer stop the truth from rising. This previous week has been pivotal in changing public perception across the country. We have to make the most of our remaining time to make sure the greatest crime in U.S. history does not go unavenged. Call the TCF Center in Detroit and demand the release of all surveillance video to the public. They can be reached at 313-877-8777. And as always, reach out to the Republican leaders in the legislature. Tell these cowards that you consider them to be even more guilty than the Democrats for abdicating their duty and allowing their opponents to commit the worst crime in U.S. history and then letting them sweep it under the rug. Let them know that they are viewed in the same light as the Loyalists were in the days of the founding-era revolutionaries, and consequences will be dire if they do not do the right thing and do it fast. Thanks again.